chamber of water trap. In the previous video, we have discussed how the Japanese Imperial Army utilized the water table and the dry season in hiding their Yamashita treasures. So on this video, I am going to share to you the other designs of water traps that me and my crew had encountered in all of our treasure hunting activities. Almost all excavation sites where we encountered water traps were near water sources, such as river, lake, pond, waterfall, and creek. Now, based on my own analysis, the Japanese Imperial soldiers will create a chamber for massive amount of water, while the treasure is hidden somewhere near to it. After burying the item into its proper place, the Japanese Imperial soldiers will create a pathway from the water source, leading into the water chamber, to fill it up. Here is an illustration of the most common water traps that we had encountered several times in our past projects. As you can see on the illustration, the item is located at the bottom side of the water chamber. Triggering the water trap actually depends on how you are going to dig the spot from the surface down into the deposit spot. Let's assume that on this first scenario, you have dug down straight into the side of the water chamber. The danger here is that, as you go down deeper, the wall between your hole and the water chamber starts to get weakened. As you continue to dig down further, especially when you are about to reach the top surface of the item, the wall won't be able to hold the pressure of the water from the chamber, and it will most likely collapse. I will leave into your own imagination about what's going to happen to the unsuspecting diggers when the water trap got triggered in this kind of situation. Another common mistake that we had experienced several times in the past was when we accidentally broke the water trap too early, as shown on the illustration. As you can see, the hole starts to get flooded with water coming out from the water chamber. Anyway, there are chances that powerful water pumps may be able to help get rid of the accumulated water. What if you dug on a spot that is directly aligned to the water trap chamber? As your digger gets closer onto the top of the water trap chamber, the layer becomes thinner and thinner, which can be a very dangerous situation. When we encountered this type of scenario, one of our diggers got his tool went through the layer of the ground, and they felt massive water underneath. So, they quickly went out of the hole before the layer got entirely collapsed. What if you mistakenly dug the water source pathway into the water trap chamber? The Japanese Imperial Army had built pathways from the water source into the water trap chamber by piling rocks for canals, while some simply used metal pipes. Speaking about metal water pipes, being able to uncover them means that you have to follow their directions, because they are going to lead you into the water trap chamber. As I previously stated, the hidden item is often nearby the water trap chamber. How to properly deal with broken water trap chamber? If it happens that you have encountered a water trap, which you got accidentally triggered and flooded your hole, you can try to use water pumps, but in most cases, they won't work. So, what we often do is to try and find the pathway that is constantly filling the water chamber from the water source. This is why it is important for the diggers to observe from the hole that they are digging, to take note about the corner where they first encountered the presence of water. Assuming that The water came from the right side corner as shown here on our illustration. This means that you have to dig a few distances away from the right side portion. And most likely, you will be able to hit the water pathway of the water trap. As I previously described, the pathway can consist of metal pipes or rocks that are well piled together that forms a canal. What you have to do is to seal it off by using bag of sands, rocks, or any other objects that can block the water. If the pressure is too strong, then you can divert it into a different direction. Once you have taken care of it, then what you have to do next is to simply wait for the water to get drained before you can proceed with your excavation. Yes, the Japanese Imperial Army did place a small drainage somewhere at the bottom of the water trap chamber. Some treasure hunters claim that it is a lot much better to find or locate this drainage under the water chamber and then break it. Yes, it does work, but it is way too risky. Moreover, if you can properly read signs and markers, then you will be able to dig the accurate spot so as to follow the correct safe directions towards the hidden treasure deposit. This is actually the main purpose of the signs and markers left behind by the Japanese Imperial Army. Did you enjoy watching my video? If yes, and if you are new to my channel, then you may want to subscribe, like this video, and hit the small notification bell icon. By subscribing and hitting the bell icon, you will receive alerts or notifications about my new published videos. If you want a reading material about treasure hunting, then you may want to visit my blogging website at treasurehunt.club. Thank you very much for watching, and happy treasure hunting.